Hello, good day, everyone. Welcome back to another segment of My Therapist Journey. Today, we are chatting with Miss Karen Carrera, long service awardee from our 2020 prestigious awards. So, Karen, hi, how are you?
I am good. I am good.
Excited to be here today.
Yes.
I'm excited to talk with you. It's so great to hear the journeys and the testimonies of all of our therapists. The journeys have just been awesome to hear, we are going right into it this morning. Tell me, Karen, what's your professional experience? And as a whole, who is Karen?
Who is Karen? Karen, by nature, I would have to say, is a nurturer, and it has always been that way. We have always been made an effort to help other people, to care about other people. It's just a natural response, a heart response to care for other people. So, in a nutshell, I would have to say, yeah, that's who Karen is. In terms of professional experience, my training so far has been deep tissue, Swedish, therapeutic, tweener, cupping, and yes, and that's it, and cupping.
How did you become a massage therapist? When did you know that you wanted to be in this profession?
But actually, my grandmother used to rub. She had 11 children, nine
Yeah.
girls. She rubbed all of them while they were pregnant. She rubbed all of her 44, 45 grandchildren. She rubbed all of her 30 great
Oh,
grandchildren. The only two she missed out were her great great grand because by then she was, too old and couldn't travel to go see them. But she used to rub
yeah.
rub pregnant women and rub babies. And she used to do cupping, but the old time fire cupping using a piece of
Nice.
cotton and a lota. So she also used to do cupping as well. So I would say she was my inspiration and the natural, if you want to say natural ability, I would say it would have come from her.
That's great. Did you ever try to do the cupping with the lota?
No, I've never been able to
A
because I'm
lot.
afraid of burning the person. So I've never been confident enough to try the fire cupping. I'm very comfortable with the vacuum cupping and
Right.
developed that experience over the past couple of years.
And it's amazing that they didn't have the formal education we did, and they were so good at what
Yes,
they did. They just
yes,
everything.
yes. But not just
So
that, but the
what is
natural remedies as well. My grandmother was into the natural,
mm-hmm.
the old time things. So all 11 children, all the nine girls, they bathed in the seven bush. When you're pregnant, they have the seven bush, which
Yes.
I don't even remember all seven bush now, but they bathe in the hog plum. You drink the saffron, they
Yes.
make saffron and ginger and give it to you. And now look at it, science is showing how the benefits of turmeric. Turmeric miracle, is this miracle root, is this miracle thing.
Yeah, that's
Coconut
right.
oil. Coconut oil is another thing. She used to make her own coconut oil. And before
Right.
the bath coconut oil, and now coconut
Yes.
oil is the best thing since sliced bread.
And it's
So these
expensive.
old-time remedies, we may not understand the benefits. We may not have understood the benefits of it before. We just know that our grandparents used to do it and used to use it. And now
That's
science is showing the benefits of all these things.
it is. Uh, how did you develop your because every one of us develop our own styles with the techniques that we learn. How did you go about developing yourself and your techniques? Who was your professional inspiration in massage?
Well, by force, I developed it because, from my grandmother, I would always be rubbing somebody hand, somebody foot, somebody back, somebody head. So, you develop your technique that way. In terms of professional inspiration, I would have to say Pearl Gopal. She's been a very great inspiration. She's taught me a lot. But I think important too. Yes, you could have technique and skill, but it's important for a therapist to have a heart for the job. Being a
Mm-hmm.
massage therapist is not a job per se. I wouldn't consider it a job because you have to have a heart, and people feel that difference because you can have great technique, but if your heart is not in it, the clients feel it. The clients feel that, like something was missing, like something was
Mm-hmm.
missing. So, but when you have a love for it, and they tell you, oh well, you have a natural talent and that kind of thing. When your heart is in it, they feel the difference in the massage.
True. Um, well, we're in the midst of a pandemic. I mean, all of the hype of 2020 is gone, but we're still here. And it has led us to adopt, new stuff, new practices, probably additional to what we have always been doing.
Yeah.
Um, how have you been coping? And within this sphere, with your experience as a massage therapist, what would you say to somebody who is now coming out into the field, or even to your other colleagues? Because we are always there, learning and sharing every day. And it's important that we learn from each other. So, what
Yes.
would you have? Would you advise a young therapist or even one of us? What, based on your experience, what would you share?
Well, first off, in terms of the pandemic, I would have to say, some people would have decried 2020 and say it was a horrible year and it was a cursed year and it was a waste of 8 months and that kind of thing. But for me, 2020 was a blessed year. God is good. And yes, there were a couple months when we were on lockdown and we were not able to work. But when we started back, I made the precautions. I took all the precautions recommended by the other professionals, by the Massage Association, by other therapists. I spoke with other therapists, found out, what they were doing, what precautions they were taking. But the
Mhm.
thing is, for us, part of our protocol was already sanitizing and making sure that we keep our area clean, that we ourselves sanitize and keep ourselves hygienic and that kind of thing. It was so the pandemic just required a little extra
Yeah.
sanitizing, sanitizing protocols, but nothing that was out of the realm of what was possible, what we comfortable with, or what was possible for us to accomplish and to do. It wasn't something foreign or
Right.
alien for us to take a couple extra precautions, whether it's changing our scrubs between clients, whether it's using gloves, whether it's
Yeah.
using a leatherette apron, whatever extra precautions we choose to take, we have to take. It's not out of the realm of impossibility. Once we move in wisdom, we do what we're supposed to do. We take care of what we take care of ourselves. We take care of our clients. Yeah. In
Right.
terms of my word for my encouragement, or what I would have to say to up and coming therapist, it would be to encourage you to love what you do. Love what you do, and you will not feel like you work a day in your life. It's
That's
been
right.
over 10 years, and I could honestly say I really haven't worked for the past 10 years. It's just been a wonderful journey. So I would encourage young therapists to love what they do and to seek learning, to seek education. Just ask other therapists, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? And having said that, I would encourage, because that's an area of difficulty that I had when I first started out, was that it was a little bit difficult to find older therapists who would share their knowledge and experience And now that is changing because, we therapists who come up together, we kind of realize the importance of sharing techniques or sharing, protocols, or sharing, different ways of approaching a problem or approaching a difficulty. So I would encourage other therapists to continue that. Share what you've learned. Like, okay, you found a new way to deal with whiplash, share it. You found a new way to deal with TMJ, share it, because it will help another therapist. So I'd encourage my colleagues to share your education and knowledge, because that's the only way that it'll pass on. Because unfortunately, simple things like rubbing Nara and Butchet and fixing womb and that kind of thing, these things were passed from generation to generation. And now we are losing it. We're losing it because there are lots of the older generation. Some of them didn't pass on because there was a old Indian lady in the village who would rub, or an
That's
old man
right.
in the village who would crack and fix,
Yeah.
and they may not have necessarily been had anybody to pass it on to. Their children may not have been interested. The children would have gone into corporate jobs or whatever the case may be. And
Mm-hmm.
and that's life. People have to make a living. But we've lost a lot of skills, when so it's important to share your education and your knowledge.
You are so correct. And for me personally, being so much shorter than the average persons, I have had to develop different techniques to deal with certain things because what they're teaching us, I'm like, well, my hand's short, right? So I'm going to do that. Yes. So
Yes.
it
Well,
has been interesting.
I am 4 feet 9. So the first time I climbed
Right.
up on the table to address a client, everybody watched me funny, but it's what I had to do to get
Yeah.
the job done. So my you would find that our techniques, because of us being a little bit shorter, is a little bit different
Yeah.
to somebody who is taller, but we get the job done. And these little
We
things
do.
is things that we could share. We need to share with other therapists that, hey, you may have a difficulty in one area, but this is the way that you can overcome it, or this is the way that you can rise above
Yes.
it, or this is the way that you could work around. I mean, we have a therapist. I know of a therapist who's blind, right? And the therapist is
Mm-hmm.
working, and his clients say that he actually has a greater touch than somebody who has sight, right? So he has
And
found a way to
I read,
work around it.
yes, I read some, I think there was a time in Japan, only blind people could have done a certain type of body work. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
So there's a room for everyone in this profession, and that's what's so amazing.
for everybody.
Um, it is. It is. What is there a modality you specialize in?
I would say deep tissue, that I favor. Deep
Okay.
tissue is very hard for me to do Swedish massage now because my hand is naturally heavy. And when I do find a knot or a kink in the muscle, it's natural for me to want to work it out and leave the client in a better position than when I than when they came in, to leave them in a
Mm-hmm.
healthier position than when they first came
I think a lot of massage therapists may have that same thing if I ask to say that very same thing. It's hard for us to not want to try and fix something when we come across it. Yes.
in. Yes, because we are therapists. We're there to fix. We're there to fix problems.
So tell me, um, we're almost at the end of our interview. I just have one more question for you, but before we go on to that, um, we want to know how you can be reached.
Okay.
So your contact
My
and
Right. Well, I work out of Marabella, but I can be reached at 740-1865.
can you say the number again?
740-1865.
740-1865.
Yes.
We've come to the end of our little chat. It's been so great talking with you, Karen. I look forward to seeing you at some time soon when we have our next
Yes.
in-person therapist day. But
Yes.
before we go, I have one last thing to ask is where do you see massage going in Trinidad and in the Caribbean in general?
Well, hopefully, well, the pandemic has shown me that there's still a need for it because my clients are still clamoring now more than ever. They're stressed. They have a lot of physical demands on their bodies and that kind of thing. So more than ever, they need massage therapy. So there is a need for massage therapy, and there will always be a need for massage therapy. In terms of in the future, hopefully, and I'm beginning to see it in small steps. Hopefully, we get accepted as a modality in the health field, in the medicinal field,
Right,
because I am working with a doctor and with a physiotherapist who have seen the benefits of it for their patients. So hopefully, in the future,
right.
massage will begin to be more accepted in the health fraternity, and perhaps maybe even be accepted as an allied modality to medicine.
And I am so looking forward to that day.
Yes.
Thank you, Karen, for being with me. Thank you for sharing your therapist journey. It has been
No
interesting
problem.
as usual. I just look forward to hearing these stories because to hear the passion and the drive and the journey of every therapist that we have interviewed so far, it's been eye-opening. It's been an awesome journey. And it
Yes.
tells us that we are really all on the same page. We just need to meet more. So
Yes, it'll be
this
nice for
has
us to meet
been,
together again.
yes, it is. So this has been my therapist journey with Karen Carreira. I am Marcelina White, General Secretary of the Caribbean Association of Massage. We're looking forward to seeing you all next time. Bye.
Bye.